What up, y'all? It's ttar, and today we're gonna be talking about Mega Xerneas and Mega Yveltal. You see, back when XY first came out, it seemed like this was inevitably gonna happen once Pokemon Z came along. It never came along. You see, when it comes to the origin of Mega Evolution, it isn't explained properly in game, but the only theory we're left with is that the Mega Stones, I think Professor Sycamore says this, must have formed 3,000 years ago when AZ launched the ultimate weapon, which means if we're to take Sycamore's theory as the truth, the origin to Mega Evolution is Xerneas in Yveltal, filled with pure life power and pure death power. Now, how deep does this go? Who knows? You got Mega Charizard who can do both X and Y. Does X mean one in particular, like it's a Xerneas based Mega Evolution and Y is a Yveltal power based Mega Evolution? I've been thinking about this whole X and Y thing, and another way to look at it is the chromosomes, right? 2X chromosome is female and then XY chromosome is male. And if you look at the Mega Evolution symbol, we're messing with DNA, right? So is this a factor to play here too? The same way you got Ultra Necrozma, he gets a new transformation off the Z crystals. You have Eternatus who gets the Eternamax from his gimmick. You gotta admit, Xerneas and Yveltal ended up being pretty simple in the final product of X and Y, as if they were supposed to have something else. Point is, in Legend ZA here, they did tease Mega Evolution as coming back. Xerneas and Yveltal, of all the Pokemon, are the prime suspects to get something from Mega Evolution. Whether it's actually called Mega Evolution for them, I imagine it would be, unless their Mega Evolution is just so strong it's dubbed as like life form and death form. Who knows? So, you know, when you use the symbol on Xerneas, it would just transform and say Xerneas transformed into its life form rather than Xerneas Mega Evolve, but we know it's using the gimmick. Anyhow, for how they could look, there's two approaches, right? You could either say Xerneas, because it's shaped like an X and Yveltal Y, that they would be freed from that and be able to take on a true form, right? Kind of think of it like the legendary genies. Their incarnate forms are not what they really look like. Because Xerneas and Yveltal are representing what's on the covers, you could almost look at it as like a restricted form or their most calm form. Especially since you see them wake up in that form, right? So it sounds like when you Mega Evolve them that they would stop just looking like X and Y and actually show their true form, which sounds like it would look completely different. It just no longer has to look like the X and Y shape. So something like Yveltal can become a whole dragon, and maybe Xerneas gets like these Pegasus wings and looks more angelic. So that's the first approach to how their Mega Evolution could go, because remember, Mega Evolution already is a gimmick that really changes a Pokemon's appearance. Like Charizard is the prime example. But especially for these two, who might turn out to be the mascots for Mega Evolution, theirs look like it would be the Ultra Burst Necrozma equivalent. You know how much Necrozma changed when it transformed. But yeah, the first approach is freeing itself from those X and Y shapes to take on a form that would represent life or death. Or maybe because they're on the covers as the X legendary and Y legendary, when they Mega Evolve, maybe it feeds deeper into representing X and Y. But who knows, right? When Zygarde got his upgraded form, his wasn't even a Mega Evolution, he no longer looks like Z. But who even knows what the whole Z thing was about? I guess that's what we're gonna find out in this. But yeah, since they didn't really talk too much about the shapes and why they look like X, Y, and Z, I'd imagine there's a good chance they'd retain those shapes when they Mega Evolve. But anyhow, onto their stats. Xerneas and Yveltal both have a whopping 680 BST, which is so high. So if they Mega Evolve, they would tie as the strongest Mega with Mewtwo and Rayquaza, and as the strongest Pokemon in general. You just gotta not count Eternatus. And in terms of typings, they'd probably keep the same typings unless they get a serious change in their design when they Mega Evolve. So if like Xerneas gets the wings, maybe it becomes a fairy flying type. And if Yveltal turns more dragon, like I guess a dark dragon type for it. Or you never know, when they Mega Evolve, they might go into a form more core to what life and death is, and they both become more spirit-like, as fairy ghost and like dark ghost. You never know. Not that they're dead, but using the ghost type as a more godly type in that way. Anyhow, I gathered one Mega Evolution fan art for both of them. I went looking for some cool ones. It's funny enough, there's not really a lot of fan art for them online. So I want to show you one for Xerneas first, just to get your brains going, right? So Xerneas, it said its horns, its antlers shoot out 7 colors and grants everlasting life. So I found this cool one which gives you that feeling of this mythical positive creature you could run into that gives off those lights. So here, those antlers, which was just little fragments of the different colors, has now taken on an overall gradient rainbow, and it looks like the Mega Evolution rainbow too. So it fits well with the idea that these are the origin to Mega Evolution. And I like what they did here on the side. It makes it look more spirit-like it's overflowing with energy. And then the one I found that I liked for Yveltal, you gotta look at it as more like concept art you would see because it's a front profile. And it looks a lot like normal Yveltal, except that ghostly cloak at the top takes over more of its body. And then the symbols on its body go deeper in and also form these little diamond patterns, which kind of looks like eyes looking at you. In a weird way, just the small adjustments made to this give it that feeling of death. You could imagine this thing as an eerie, cool representation of death in the Pokemon world. It would just loom over someone, and people would hallucinate thinking they're seeing it for a while before it takes their soul. I think this artwork is a good example of small details going a far way. Anyhow, y'all let me know your thoughts. What would a Mega Xerneas and Yveltal look like when this game finally comes out? And do you think they are the origin to Mega Evolution? Anyhow, there's something I left out in this that I want to talk about in the next video concerning Mega Evolution. So I'll see y'all there. Take care.